Chris, how is your pee break?
My pee break?
They might flash you.
Damn.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
messing around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Well, hello, everybody. Fancy seeing you here on this very special Wednesday. I don't know why I'm talking like Delilah. Maybe it's a little something called the impromptu holiday app. Maybe it's just the holiday spirit. I got a little pep in my step. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this evening because, you know, my show is Monday and Thursday nights. And I thought, you know, it's just good for the soul. You know, I just got it like Delilah, like chicken soup for the soul thought. I was like, I got to get on and talk to the peoples. For nothing else, my mental health and sanity. And I thought I got to send them off on their holiday with a little something, something. So it may be that, you know, maybe the little pep in my step of a holiday cheer, or it may be a little something like this or like this. Boom, boom, bang. I take you guys seriously. You may think this is just a little wine. This is just a little coffee, that little me espresso. But it represents much more than that, you know, and not just the wine because I'm a Jew, guys, because I polled your asses. And this is about, first of all, you can see I'm all about equal opportunity and equality, right? So this is the real equality, but also of democracy and voice and power to the people, because I polled your asses, like I said. And I said, what am I going to pour out tonight for, you know, myself, for you all? And good Lord, you know, the state of the world as we know it on tonight's special holiday up. And this is what you have chosen thus far. So I said, you know, variety is the spice of life. So cheers. So, you know, maybe it's a little buzz from my one sip. You know, look, I even got the holiday, like the faux fur going. I mean, I really showed up and showed out for you guys if you ask me. So cheers. Here's a little wine. I'm so happy to be with you all tonight. It literally keeps me going, and your comments and DMs, you know, grapers aside, all of it. And of course, for balance, a little me espresso as we start tonight. And what all this, again, really represents, which is voice to the people, democracy, and true diversity. And who would have thought it would come in the form as my liquid encouragement as such? And it's all going to come back in the end. You will see. So I'm going to start this with an interesting story of where my day started. Somewhere in a very, like, the most unlikely of places. You know, the day before this holiday, everyone's like checked out. We're already, I mean, I'm completely brain dead. I don't know about you, but that's just like the perpetual state of being in 2025. But I found myself this morning, the day before the holiday. Again, everyone's all checked out, but where was I? I was on an interview, I suppose, with a recruiter this morning from where? The Daily Wire. Okay. Just imagine, picture it, Sicily, 1972. No, straight up picture me like between Michael Knowles and Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh. Like, imagine us like all between each other, like, hey guys, group yearbook photo. No, could you imagine? And I'm not just telling you this story because it's like Taylor's story time and diary that nobody asked for, but it's going to bring me actually to the end here. And what I'm really reflecting on this Thanksgiving, it is going to take a turn you never saw coming. Never. Like Christopher Nolan. Sweetie, you thought. You literally actually fucking thought. Okay. But no, about the bigger picture of it all too and where we're at. And yes, the new Ken Burns American Revolution documentary. I mean, who would have thought, you know, Taylor interviewing with the Daily Wire, so the American Revolution. Like, that's just where we're at on this Turkey Day. So here's the story, and here's why this was so kind of crazy. So I got pinged by a recruiter for Daily Wire, and I kind of let it, I didn't mean to ghost. I'm just not a good LinkedIner. And this recruiter reached me about a role at Daily Wire to be a producer. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Here's what went on in my head. All right, a couple things, and you're going to crack up when I tell you about how this actually went down. The first thing that goes on in my head is absolutely not. Like, I'm building here. What's up, Pyramid 7? I'm building here what I have for a decade now, brick by brick, my platform and mission and voice and all of it. And I will be damned if I'm pigeonholed to the likes of a Daily Wire, which could you imagine me walking into a Daily Wire, to the Daily Wire, like on a daily basis? Okay. They'd be like, who is this blonde? Where did she, like, what planet did she descend from? So how I definitely do not fit their cookie cutter archetype mold, right? And not wanting to be confined to that. However, I thought, Taylor, broaden your horizons. For whatever reason, this came across your desk and you never know. And just see, crazier things have happened. Like, why shut the door? For example, when I was just starting on the red carpet scene, this was after the Chrissy Teigen blow up. And I had to start from scratch, pull myself up by the bootstraps and just start on over. Who let me have this sip of wine? Who? Before the show? I'm not even making sense today. I have like a lisp all of a sudden. I don't even know what's happening. But either way, I went into Interview with Us Weekly, and they brought me in at the time to do, it's not my thing. It's called a back reporter. It's the person who knows the tea. Like, they know the publicist, they know the hairdresser, they know the janitor. It's, those pieces that say like sources say, okay, that's that person. That's so not my jive. It's just not what I do. So I went in to interview for that, and I straight up told them that, right? And they were like, actually, that this isn't your thing, but you'd be perfect for red carpet reporting. And voila. And then that's, when my whole career, took off on that. And that was just to start there. So I thought, Taylor, meet with the Daily Wire recruiter. You never know, like, even if Matt Walsh is hiding under your bed at night. And so I go into it with her, and I'm pretty transparent off the bat, because I also just like give no fucks anymore, right? Who has time for that and who does? And I tell her that. I said, look, I definitely think I could bring something very refreshing. It needs a shakeup over there. I've been following them for a while. I definitely do not fit their box or their mold. It's definitely not what they're used to. That said, I can definitely bring a refreshing eye and, have a lot to say, and I, pull no punches, right? So I tell her that off the bat, but I'm like, I just want to say, again, crazier things have happened. You never know. But I was also kind of in my head thinking, Taylor, don't be so close-minded. Like, don't write it off right away. And I was kind of picturing almost a Devil Wears Prada scenario with Anne Hathaway's character, how she is like the black sheep, like sticks out like a sore thumb and goes in though and really has an impact and, makes her mark and shakes things up. I was like, okay, just be, and Anne Hathaway sans the frumpy clothes and like grandma clogs and Devil Wears Prada. It's fine. If you guys remember, right? She's so not the archetype for the Miranda Priestley, the Vogue, the movies based off of like Anna Wintour and all that. And she, all the girls are usually these fashionistas, and she comes in as this like brainy, intellectual journalist, I think from Brown or something, in these like frumpy ass grandma clothes, a little chubby and like just not at all fit the mold, right? But goes in and, like I said, really does a lot in molding it, right? And bringing her own flavor to it. So I was like, it's okay. Like, in a world of Daily Wires, just be an Anne Hathaway, or I thought the Elle Woods thing. I was like, it's okay. All of these stick up their butt conservatives in the Daily Wire, i.e. Harvard in this scenario, won't even know what hit them when Elle Woods, i.e. Taylor, walks through the door with her clipboard and she's like, here's what we're going to do, Ben. Here's what we're going to do, Michael Knowles. Like, listen up, everybody. So that's kind of what was going on in my head. It gave me some sort of rationale, right? Kind of just busting in and doing it. But it was so funny because she's like a recruiter, this woman, and she was so sweet. And she's just asking me the shit she has. She just like, she has her questions. She has her like Excel sheet, I'm sure. And she's like, lady, I have like 6 more of these to do probably, right? But I'm getting all esoteric on her and all intellectual. Like she's straight up like, tell me about your production experience and tell me about, what you know about the Daily Wire, and all this stuff. But she asked me, she said, what would you most want to learn? And I got so deep on her. I literally, like, she was probably like, bitch, all I wanted to know is if you use Adobe Suite to edit and if you know how to use Premiere. But okay, here you are giving me a dissertation. So she asked, what would I actually want to learn, being at the Daily Wire? And I straight up said to her, I said, look, everything is so heightened and almost cartoonish at this point and obviously divisive. But I said, even people like a Matt Walsh and a Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles. And I straight up told her too. I was like, by the way, I make fun of them on my show all the time. So there's that. But I was like, it's nothing that would shock them or surprise them, but just so you know. But they are such caricatures. Everybody is, just as are people on the left, the Joy Reids of it all, the Van Jones, the Mom Donnies, like they're all caricatures, same thing on the right, the Tuckers, the Megyn Kellys. So I said it would be so fascinating to actually take a look under the hood and see the human of it all, like see what they're actually about, see how they operate, see how they really think about the world. And almost, I didn't even realize it. And I said it as I was explaining it to her, almost a version of what I did in Hollywood with celebrities. Again, like taking a peek under the hood and getting beneath the glossy facade and the fake to who they really were, what they really thought about things. And I told her, I think that in and of itself would be so fascinating. And if and how, I'm so, again, not in that conservative box. Like they are specific as fuck. But like again, if I'm not churning butter on set that day, am I gonna be suspect? Like I don't know. I don't know. No, but just knowing one of my outfits and walking in there, they should take a risk. If not on me, on someone, and I could take it. Like I just did it as a fun experiment. But if I could actually see how they operate, see who they really are, the human, and what I could do to help elevate, amplify, shape that mission and message, if any, right? And I told her this too. Again, I'm literally in a therapy session. She's like, do I look like Dr. Phil, bitch? But I told her straight up, and you guys know this. And I said, ever since Charlie Kirk was killed, I really feel this pull I really feel confined in this green screen box. And being with people and in person, it's just my element and connecting. And I've really thought about a bigger infrastructure, a bigger movement, right? Real impact. And, again, maybe it's I never really envisioned it in an entity that's already built out. I always, and still am, really am, hell-bent on carving my own path and trail. But I said maybe it would be interesting and a challenge to again come in and shape it in my own way and really have impact in that, and so yeah, again, it was just really funny because I was like, okay, so let's just take this moment. And it was fucking hilarious because again, she's like, so about your production experience, and like she's like, I did not ask. So all things that obviously I'm thinking about, and that came up with this recruiter who literally did not see it coming, nor did she ask or care. Like she's like, lady, I'm trying to ask you about the interface of the software you use for your audio engineering. Like, why are you literally telling me all this? Hey guys. So all of that to say, right? I said to her too, again, we are in it really is an inflection point and are in such a unique height in time when it comes to the clash of voices and ideas, right? Which is going to bring me to the end here. So, in those entities and those figures and influencers and those guys in particular are part of that, right? Even, like the Brett Coopers of it all who started there, and even Candace Owens now, who I think was at Breitbart and then started at Daily Wire. But either way, and also like my allergy to being conformed to a group. Like I hate labels. I hate, so that in and of itself, like I was starting to get hives of like, I actually cannot. But either way, yes, that was my deep dive Daily Wire experience. She is going to be like, I do not know if I am going to call this girl back again, because I'm going to hear about the essay she wrote in the 5th grade about like the humanity of her suburban middle school. No, but either way, it was an experience, and you never know. And just to see what happens. If nothing else, I thought, thank you. So are you. Duh. Black Rent takes one to know one. And I thought, you never know. And literally in the back of my head, I was like, if nothing else, it'll be a fun story for the show. So again, we are right in this huge clash of ideas. And it's really going down, and it's throwing down. As obscure as Kate Beckinsale, swear to God, I saw this on X just before hopping on here, and I didn't even have the mental bandwidth or wherewithal to finish the clip in its entirety. But she's talking about how her girlfriend's boyfriend laid eggs like a chicken out of his asshole. She's being interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel, and even Jimmy Kimmel like restores a brain cell, and he's like, what? Like, I'm sorry. And she's dead at. And now I didn't even have the patience to see the payoff in the end to see if she was like, just kidding. But I think she was actually fucking committed to the story. She's like, no, he lays eggs. Like he laid eggs, and okay. So just be thankful for that, because again, we are seeing it all come out right now. So much so to where I saw a clip of Benny Johnson, who's a big conservative commentator, on Megyn Kelly yesterday. And they're making fun of J-Lo because I don't know if you saw, but J-Lo performed, I think it was in India for this billionaire couple. And she probably got paid millions, right? But she is like literally reviving her role in Hustlers and like is wearing a G-string. I'm like, is the flower girl present for this? Like, is this legal? But either way, you know how it goes, right? And this would probably be on brand for the Daily Wire too. But they're just like reaming into her like she's 50 plus. Why can't she act her age? It's so desperate. Da 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 da. Okay. But we talk about like the big clash of ideas right now. Benny Johnson, I had to clear my ears out. I was like, excuse me, sir. Like, what the fuck? Are we reviving Little House on the Prairie or not? Like, maybe it never even left. I don't know. But he's like, this is just, you don't have to show more skin, and guys won't take you seriously. And, men want girls increasingly who, and I quote, are wearing sundresses and baking sourdough. Okay, I missed that memo. Clearly, I don't even think I want that memo. Button, don't pop off. Don't pop off, in spite of Benny Johnson, because you just heard that quote, okay? Because he was acting up before, even before I had the sip of wine. But I thought, dear Lord. And like, what a total polar opposite from the extremes on the left, who are like, no, ladies, you are gonna sleep with that house plant if that's what it takes, right? You are gonna sleep with 1 million guys this year under the guise of like freedom and liberation. It's like, okay, so no chill to be had as always on either side, right? And we're also though starting to see the cross pollination at last. I've only been advocating for this for fucking years of big voices on both sides. Well, actually, no, that's not true. We saw Mamdani and Trump like circle jerking in the Oval Office, but even Marjorie Taylor Greene going on The View. I just saw Laura Trump on Bill Maher. And, Bill Maher even, yes, a houseplant. These lefties can go really hard. Honestly, you're too innocent to know. Don't even look. Still preserve your innocence, okay? Black Rant, preserve your innocence. I'm sure Teen Vogue had an article about fucking a house plant, in queue before they folded and went under. But either way, it's just really psychotic. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Larry David, I mean, come on, Larry, like pretty not good that you're writing op-eds about Bill Maher going to, the White House to meet Trump for dinner. And he writes an op-ed, Larry David, saying like dinner with Adolf, right? I mean, seriously, like so extra. It's the same thing as like Jimmy Kimmel's wife. Did you guys see this? How apparently, and I didn't know this, by the way, but this explains a lot. She's like one of the writers, I guess, on Jimmy Kimmel's show, but like graduating from the College of Asinine, both of them. Hang on, I just want to catch up on some of these here. JLo hears him over the millions of dollars. No, straight up. Can you imagine? Like, I'm sorry. What? I can't hear you with the stack of Benjamins literally on my head and probably in my ass crack from this thong of the performance. Oh, they definitely fuck. Oh, 100%. Like, if furry is out of style, then the houseplant shit is like coming in hot. So yeah, how Jimmy Kimmel's wife, I guess leading up to the election, wrote a letter to family and friends about why they shouldn't vote for Trump, and how she literally just cut them off if even they did. Like, sweetie, no one asked for your opinion, but thanks. Like, clearly more than half the country didn't listen to your opinion, or nor do they care. So again, it's the same thing as the Larry David. Like, we see it over and over, right? And Bill Maher ends up saying, again, what little Talk to Me Taylor has said, which is like both sides are, indignant and judgmental and whatever, but let's be real, the left is so much more hostile and unhinged than the right. I say this all the time. Like, I've had family members, friends, whatever, random people on the internet, acquaintances who are out of the left, like come out like Freddy fucking Krueger without the mask in the middle of the night to be like, Taylor, you said what? Like, with their dirty paws on my shoulders in my REM sleep. And I'm like, sweetie, I didn't ask. Whereas I feel like on the right, I can take jabs at them and they're like, probably true. Like, they're not as mad, right? Which Bill Maher ultimately says how much worse it is on the left than the right. But either way, we know there's a divide, there's an intolerance. And yeah, this idea of just cutting people off completely is literally so childish. And I know I default often to the like lack of IQ argument, but I have to assume Jimmy Kimmel and his wife have something going on up there, considering what they've accomplished with his late night show, right? So it can't just be that. It can't just be the unintelligent. It's just a brainwashing to the nth degree, and this high horse morality. I don't know. It's just sad. So it's just a sad state of affairs. We know that. And like I said, the clash of ideas. So that brings me today to, I know this day, let's take another, all you in the comments, all you watching, let's take another sip before we go to the next segment. If you missed it in the beginning, you guys voted so far before I hopped on here on my Instagram to have wine and coffee. And I listened to the people because this is a democracy, bitch. And unlike most of the internet, I actually take that seriously and I mean it. So just for you, I'm going to have a sip of each, okay, before we move on. But yeah, you can see it has been a day. It has been a day. I didn't ask for this day. I didn't choose this day, but it chose me. Cheers, Pinot Noir. Nice and light for my Pinot lovers. And again, life's all about balance, equal opportunity. So I had an interesting call today after the black, it's like coffee and wine. Are you deranged? Blue pill and red pill. That is hilarious. How about this? This is going to be common and this is going to be sense. Cheers. Which actually, oh, I didn't even mean that little foreshadowing. Common sense. We're going to talk about the American Revolution and the Ken Burns doc in the next 7 minutes before I wrap this shindig. So today was a journey. So I also connected today with Marcus Johns. And if you don't know Marcus, we had a long phone call. If you don't know Marcus, guys, he was the first person. He was like internet viral and social media viral before it was even a thing. He was the first person to get 1 million followers on Vine. And he's at Vine, if you can imagine. Not MySpace, not LimeWire, fucking Vine, right? So he's super impressive, and what he built is really legendary. And we share such a similar philosophy. Basically, we were talking about today how we just went down this whole rabbit hole in our shared view of how of the internet and social media, and how everything is so fake. Everybody is placating and shape-shifting to these arbitrary algorithms. the big tech platforms and the algorithms are squeezing everyone for everything that they've got. Again, house plants and all. I know people with millions of followers and they're like, I'm literally making 5 cents a month on YouTube and TikTok combined. So it's sad. And you guys know how I feel about this. Like, first of all, don't tell me what to say, how to do things, or what to do. But that's exactly the opposite is exactly what we're seeing epitomized down to, it drives me nuts. Like, there's nothing really under the surface. And like, what's the purpose? What's this? It's just people literally trying to get internet famous by doing these little things that what arbitrary algorithm lords tell you to do. Literally, if you don't know this, it's as specific as like in the first 30 seconds, say this, show this. And it's just like nobody's even real anymore. Everybody is fake as fuck. And I'm just over it. He said to me, he's like, Taylor, and again, this is a pioneer in this space. He's like, I don't even scroll anymore because I know it's just literally also fake, which absolutely amen to that, which is why he and I are both so excited about this new wave of Web3 and things being decentralized, because it's true freedom and ownership, which is what I've always been about. Say what the fuck you want. Sorry, I'm going to stop dropping the F-bomb. It's the 2 sips of wine, and I probably look a little flushed. It's not the house plants thing. Okay, I'm not that freaky. And so, true autonomy, right? Over your content, no algorithms, no shadow banning. So what you say, who you're reaching, and how you monetize, and actually making that money. Thank you. Like YouTube, nobody asked, step off my gown, right? So, and at the end, he and I kind of came to, and we discuss this a lot on the show, but the upcoming wave of AI and how at the end of the day, think about it. Even with weird, freaky shit like porn or relationships or AI sex or girlfriends, forget, like, I'm going a step further than the fact that there are AI actresses, singers. The number one Christian song right now, by the way, is AI, like Jesus. I don't know how you feel about that in your grave, but it's got to feel a type of way. Influencers, podcasters, right? But think about even on the personal side, it's all going to I think it's going to be a novelty, and then it's going to get fucking weird. It's going to get weird. We're going to crave. So we're going to know that it's fake. You talk about fake. We're going to know. And I think ultimately we're going to be like, okay, this is weird. Like, I'm craving human connections. Like, there can only be so many cat ladies and so many incels, like, procreating with their PlayStations until people lose it. So we were talking about how the real human, the real is what ultimately will break through and survive, because people will want it so badly. Four Locos would be kind of tacky. Oh my God, Four Locos. Wow. It is the night before Thanksgiving, which is the, ultimate party night of the year. I won't be personally because I'm a grandma. My ass is going to be locked into Ken Burns before I fall asleep. But damn, that brings me back to my Penn State days. Four Locos. Yeah. Procreate with the PlayStation for sure. So with that, brings me, oh my gosh, I was rambling on. I only have like 2-3 minutes. Okay. To the new Ken Burns American Revolution documentary on PBS that Ruth from Temple told me about last week. And I have been locked in. I've been obsessed. However, I really have to give it to the Ken Burns documentary lovers. This is my first time watching a Ken Burns documentary, and this shit is like a sedative, okay? I can't help it. It's not for lack of trying or enthusiasm. I'm like, I love this. I want to learn. I'm like a sponge. And by the way, there is so much that it's fascinating that I didn't know. And the way that they teach things versus what really went down is so fascinating. So my enthusiasm is there. I have my coffee, and literally 8 minutes in, I am in my 8th dream. Okay. It's because everything is so goddamn monotone and there is literally no emotional range. So I never know how to feel. I'm like, should I have caught that part? Like, it is literally like a grandma corpse recounting this story for 2 hours per episode. However, it is fascinating nonetheless, right? And, it is Thanksgiving tomorrow. And, it's just so interesting to watch it at this time and all of the parallels, because what they don't teach us, we always think, I mean, unless I was under the wrong impression, right? That the founding fathers and the colonists we're out for a vengeance. Like, we're out to be like, screw you guys, like life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, step off. Like, we're doing our own thing, Declaration of Independence, peace. And it actually wasn't that way. I didn't realize they came here and were actually super proud to be British. And yes, they had capitalism and very much like selfish interests at heart, like expanding and profiting. And a lot of these founding fathers were rich. I didn't even know all this, right? But then when Britain was fucking them over and over and over, the Stamp Act, taxation, all of it, they were finally like, well, no, now we're just getting screwed, right? And that's what's so fascinating to watch, is that pure American spirit, and how truly, like, I know everyone calls it the great experiment, but how there really was absolutely nothing like it. And there's so many, like Ken Burns and all of his efforts, there are so many little intricacies and things that we don't even know in details, but how that idea was really written throughout, and how it was so unconventional, and again, so unprecedented. The idea of, again, being self-governed, of democracy, of freedom, was so unlike anything at the time. And even the way that they did things, even in war, when the Revolutionary War started, like, at the time, you know how it was, like the proper way and like the orthodox way was they would just like line up, all in form, and then shoot at each other. And when the American Revolution happened, like, got to give it a Paul Revere, all these guys, they just like went ham. Like the British were coming through and people were shooting at them like through their fences and houses and windows. Like, everything was that spirit of breaking the box of what had been done. And now, of course, what's so fascinating is to see, and again, this is just something that is so universal and evergreen and that repeats itself, but how contradictory and complex they were, right? Because it is so fascinating to watch how, again, they're doing all this and going out and taking such risks. Like, they didn't have a backup. The backup was like, we're dead and we get killed. But they put everything out on the line, for that sense of freedom. But even though the contradictories in that, right? And the hypocrisies, like the fact that, a lot of them are all about pursuit of, of happiness and liberty and freedom, yet had slaves, or even like when the Declaration of Independence was written, this isn't explicitly written, but it's like all men created equal, but it's like, but not women or Black people or Native Americans and all this, right? But the fact that that core ethos was always there. And I have to say, I don't know if this is a plot twist for you guys, but just watching this and seeing where we're at and the clash of ideas, I thought, man, that is the beauty of this country, is that it started from the beginning, that you can literally come here and do and be anything, and I'm so grateful for that. And anyone who's like, bitter or angry or think America sucks, it's like, you've literally lost the plot. Like, this is the best fucking country on earth. And yes, it has its issues. And yes, it's not perfect. But the fact that so many people, I mean, think of all the people who have come here and changed the world with their American dream. Like, I'm sounding hella Tucker Carlson, like, nationalist right now, but the fact that it is just like the epicenter of the universe, all the innovation and creation and the thought, like why people want to come here to make their dreams happen and change the world. And look at the like conception of where it started. So it's so inspiring to watch. It's like, wow, even then it's like, it's like the underpinning and the foundation of all of it. And so it has me thinking, like, even, me being such a free speech advocate and with everything I do, like, so thankful that we are here and I can do what I do, where in other countries, you're fucking stoned to death or gunned down. Like, gee. And so I am thankful. You're not going to believe this, but I actually am thankful for all the voices this Thanksgiving. I don't care if it's the Joy Reids, the Jimmy Kimmels. I don't care if it's literally the Candace Owens, the Nick Fuenteses. I'm thankful for all of them. Seriously. Because I know that it's leading us in a weird way to somewhere more prosperous and healthier, and and hopeful and better. I do truly believe that. But B, because we fucking can. Because we can. You know, that core freedom of our expression, of our thoughts, of our opinions. Like, I love to see it. I love to see it. You know, the clash of the ideas and exchange of ideas and debate. Like, the more the merrier, you know, bring it on. And so I am super thankful for all of that, for all of you, and the clash of ideas, the clash of drinks. I have to get going because I'm sure one of my neighbors, if it's not like the recruiter through LinkedIn on the Daily Wire who can hear my echoes, and she's like, bitch, I thought our Zoom ended so long ago, or my neighbors being like, what is Taylor rambling about? Here we go. More voices, the merrier. I have you right here. Again, variety is a spice of life to democracy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't let me drink again on this show. Guys, happy Thanksgiving, and chin chin to that, to freedom and democracy. I will see you all next week. Have a great holiday. Bye. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
It might flash you.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
But I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor.